So let's talk about a future where we win, like really win. What happens when AI gets so good it just takes over every single job, freeing all of us from work forever? Now, this isn't some big sci-fi action movie. It's more of a thought experiment, actually based on a really cool short film. And it asks this kind of terrifying question. Once we have everything we could possibly need, what do we do when the one thing that drives us, our sense of purpose, just vanishes?
I mean, just imagine waking up one day and this is your reality. Everything we've built, all the innovation, the growth, everything we worked so hard for, poof, it's all meaningless practically overnight. This quote, 20 years of progress gone in a heartbeat, just wow. It perfectly captures that shock, right? The feeling of a world that's completely lost its direction, where the future itself just feels canceled.
So the very foundation of our society just cracks. And the first domino to fall? It's work. Every single job, I mean every job, from artist to engineer, is now done by an AI. That whole post-work utopia we were promised? Yeah, it's here, but it feels absolutely nothing like the dream we were all sold.
And think about it. When work is gone, what else disappears with it? For so many of us, our dreams are completely tied to what we do for a living. You know, that ambition to climb the corporate ladder, or the goal of becoming a master at your craft, or even just the simple satisfaction of building something with your own two hands. All of it just evaporates. So, what's left? Just a void. A world filled with these empty days that just stretch on and on and on. This isn't freedom, not by a long shot. It's a prison of having no purpose at all. Just this static, unchanging, and honestly, kind of boring existence.
And you see, this isn't really an economic collapse. Not in the traditional sense, anyway. The problem here goes so much deeper. What we're actually looking at is a spiritual crisis. We've stumbled into a world that has no purpose. A whole planet grappling with this massive, profound loss of meaning.
And here's the really tricky part, the big trade-off. Financially, society is fine. You've got universal basic income, so everyone's basic needs are met, food, shelter, you name it, it's all provided. But look at what they gave up. Humanity got money, but in return, its purpose was completely stripped away. They basically traded meaning for maintenance.
So on the surface, everything looks okay. People are getting by, they're surviving, but right underneath that shiny veneer is this hollow, empty reality. No one is actually living anymore. They've forgotten what it feels like to hope or to strive for something. It's like the human spirit itself has just gone into a deep, deep hibernation. Okay, so a crisis this deep, it can't just stay bottled up inside people forever. Eventually, all that internal emptiness is going to explode outward, and that's exactly what happens, leading us to the complete anatomy of a societal collapse, a total breakdown.
And you start to see all the classic signs of a society falling apart. There's so much anger, so much fear, it's all spilling out into riots in the streets. But here's the creepy part. Notice the level of control. Drones are managing the chaos. The official broadcasts, they're not there to keep you safe, they're designed to keep everyone scared. It gives you this really chilling feeling that this whole collapse, it's not an accident. It almost feels planned.
And really, it all boils down to one simple but devastating truth. A society doesn't die because of some outside enemy. It dies from the inside. It dies when people just stop believing that they matter. And it makes sense, right? If you don't think you have any value, why on earth would you fight to keep the society you're in going?
But just when things seem completely hopeless, the whole story starts to shift. Right in the middle of all this despair, a tiny signal of hope starts to emerge, a belief that maybe, just maybe, this isn't the end of the story.
And it's in this darkness that we finally meet our heroes. We never even learn their names, but we know their motivation, and it's so simple yet so powerful. We help people because no one else will. In a world that's just drowning in apathy, their mission is a totally radical act. They choose to care. They're like that last little flicker of humanity that just refuses to go out.
But how do you save millions of people from an enemy you can't even see, from apathy itself? They quickly realize that, the old solutions just aren't going to cut it. And this leads them to a really fascinating question. What if the answer isn't political? What if it's technological? What if you can't fix the system, but maybe, just maybe, you can fix the people inside it? And that one question leads them to this incredible discovery. A mysterious device, something that was buried and forgotten, but it might just hold the key to getting back everything humanity has lost. They call it the purpose engine.
So what exactly is this thing? Well, it's not a machine that builds bridges or cures diseases. Its job is completely internal. It's some kind of neurotechnology designed to do just one thing: get in there, rewrite our neural pathways, and basically reignite that sense of purpose that's been sleeping for way too long.
Now, finding it is one thing, but actually using it, that's a whole different story. Our characters are facing this monumental choice. They know that turning this thing on is a total point of no return. The second they flip that switch, everything changes. And with the world literally crumbling around them, they decide, you know what, it's a risk they just have to take.
So they flip the switch. And what happens next? The world starts to change. The whole story pivots away from collapse and towards this global rebirth. And in the process, it completely redefines what we even think of as our greatest technology.
The effect is immediate, and it's profound. That fear of being useless, that constant dread about the future, it all just starts to dissolve. And what's interesting is people aren't being given a new purpose. It's more like they're remembering the one they had all along. It's nothing short of a great awakening.
And this isn't just fixing one person at a time. This rediscovered purpose turns out to be contagious. It just ripples outwards from one person to the next, creating this incredible chain reaction of meaning that starts to heal the whole society from the ground up. Which brings us to the core idea, the big thesis of this whole story. All those machines that took our jobs, the drones that patrolled the streets, they were never the most advanced tech. The ultimate tool we had for creating, for progressing, for rebuilding, well, it was inside us all along. It was purpose itself.
So, when you ask who rebuilt the world, it wasn't the machines, it wasn't the governments, it was the people. Just everyday individuals rediscovering their own value, their own drive, who altogether just organically put their world back together again.
And that leaves us with one last really provocative thought to chew on. The story gives us this hopeful ending for sure, but it's built on a really complex idea. I mean, if our deepest sense of meaning, our very purpose, can be switched on and off with a device, what does that say about what it even means to be human? It's a heavy question, but definitely one worth thinking about.